it does have a bunch of things that we abide by it, whether
Okay,
we
so
like
why
it or
can't I
not.
identify as a trans woman? Because I feel like a trans woman.
Because you're not
Somebody's
a
whispering
trans
to him.
individual.
Because what?
Because you're not a trans individual.
But I want
If
to
you want to
identify as a
transition,
trans woman. I
because
want
it
to
doesn't work
identify
like that.
it. Why doesn't it work like that? I thought you said it's a social construct. Why can't I identify as what I want? I want
Then
to
I just
identify as a trans woman. Why can't I?
because because while it is a social construct, it's based on society's, you know, based on society's norms of how things are supposed to be defined.
So
Just because
how
you
am
want
I?
to define a
What?
trans
So
woman,
what? How do you define a trans woman? Define a trans woman and why I can't be one.
a trans woman is an individual that transitions from one gender to another,
All right,
meaning
so
they're
I'm
transitioning from being a man
transitioning
to a
from
woman.
I'm transitioning from cisgender to transgender. Why can't I?
That's not how that works.
Why you just said you can transition from one gender to another, so I'm transitioning from cisgender to transgender. Why can't I?
If you're trying to transition from cisgender to transgender, then you will be defined as a transgender man, not a
Why can't
woman.
I be a transgender woman?
Didn't I just say there's a bunch of notions about this?
Yeah, what are the notions about it that restricts me from being
Then
a
I,
trans woman?
oh my God. You're transitioning from one gender to another.
Exactly, I'm
Transitioning
transitioning from
from,
cisgender to transgender. So I'm not going to identify as a cisgender woman. I'm going to identify as a transgender woman. Why can't I?
you just cannot because that's
You
not
have
how
to
that
tell me
works.
why. You have to tell me why. Why
You're
can't
transitioning
I?
from one gender being a man to transitioning to a woman. You're just trying to put,
Oh,
you're just trying
so
to,
you're saying that I can't transition from a woman, from a cis woman to a trans woman. I have to transition from a man to a woman. Why is it that I have to transition from a man to a woman? Why?
you ask why?
Yes, darling.
I want, okay.
You know why I can't be a trans woman? Because I would have to
Why
be
not?
born a male. I would have to be born a male to be a trans woman. So therefore, gender can't be a social construct because it's incumbent upon our biology. We have to be males or females to even fathom being transgender. Because transgender, you don't go to from being a man to a woman. You appropriate the different smexes and the smex characteristics. Thank you for your service. Goodbye.